What's going on, guys? So this is just going to be a quick tip on 2 movements that can help you to basically restore some internal rotation for your squat and stuff. So for powerlifting, this might not matter as much because a lot of powerlifters, obviously, you're going to stand a bit wider and you're trying to cut depth to the point where actually external rotation is going to be what you want more of. However, for like back squatting, front squatting, snatching, and clean jerking, with the way that we sit down to the bottom, you need adequate internal rotation to be able to sit here. Otherwise, what you'll find is you'll toe out a lot, you won't sit as low, you'll hip hinge back, or you will borrow the range of motion from somewhere else because you can't get it from your hips. So the 3 movements that I really liked for myself to make it feel better, especially for longer leg lifters, is 3 movements. So the first one is literally just a really simple hip twist drill on the floor. The other one is basically just a hip aeroplane. It's like a single leg RDL, where once you're in the hip hinge position, you rotate through. And then just a cyclist squat, where you go through varying progressions, trying to make sure that your hips are in, basically deep internal rotation because your toes will be forwards and you're forcing yourself to go into your quads in that range. So then you're going to end up being able to sit into this position a lot better, feeling like you can sit into your legs. So I'm going to show you those now. So first one, the hip rotation drill is really simple. You're going to go into a crab position, so like this. So we've all done crab bridges before. You're going to go into a position for that, but what I want you to change is when you're here, don't arch and flare your ribs up. What I want you to do is pull your shoulder blades together and then do this. So watch my ribs. So I'm actually trying to pull basically my sternum down towards my waist. So if I can do a hollow hold, then I'm going to pull my shoulder blades together. From here, I have my feet relatively wide, like a little bit wider than shoulder's width. I'm aiming to drive my knee across as far as I can and try to make it cross my midline. So I'll do it from the front in a minute, but all I'm trying to do is really press the knee as far in and over as I can. So I'll show you from here. So imagine center line of my body, set up, shoulder blades together, pack the ribs down, and then my knee will come across and I'll press through the floor. And you will come across, press through the floor, and then you can even do it like this. So then you actually do external rotation on the other side. So like 5 to 10 reps, really try to press as much as you can. If possible, you can progress it to here. So I'm still going to keep my chest kind of facing this way as much as I can. Ribs pulled together, shoulder blades back, but then I will rotate this way and come across. All this is going to do, because I'm now going to sit upright, it's going to mean that my hip's going to be in deeper flexion, as it would be when you're in the squat. Okay, cool. So then there's that one. This next one's just a single leg RDL motion. You're going to go into it. You can hold onto something for support if you can't do it, like I'm doing at the moment. And all you're going to do is go from here, and you're going to try and open the hip up. So if it makes any sense, I'm trying to make sure that same as before, my ankle, my knee, my belly button and my sternum are all stacked directly over my ankle joint like this. And then I'm just going to open up like this. So it's kind of like you're basically doing this, you're imagining doing this motion with your hip, like that, but from in the hinge position, so the closed check. So there, open up, come back down. If you start to lose your balance, literally just grab a hold of something like this, and then you can do it this way. Like that. Again, like 5 to 10 reps, and then we get to the final movement, which is more activation for the squat itself. It's just a cycle squat. I would advise for those of you who struggle to keep upright, to get into your legs, to use a weight for counterbalance. So you start here, toes facing forwards, like this. Making sure your toes are directly forwards. They can't be turned out too much at all. You want to really make sure you have to internally rotate the hips. Then all you're going to do is make sure you keep your pelvis tucked under. So the butt's not allowed to shoot back like this. My hips, the centre of my hips has to sink straight down to my heel. All I'll do from there is I'll pull my ribs down again, and I'll put the weight slightly out in front, and then I'll just squat in. And if you're at the bottom and you find you don't have much more range, you can let the knees come back before coming up, okay? So keep the pelvis tucked, and up again. So as you can see, that's obviously making you go like a super squatty squat. So you're trying to make sure that it's almost all putting the pressure into your thighs, but it's also going to put a lot of pressure on internal hip rotation because your knees have to go straight forward. So try those 2 movements out. Doesn't have to be in that order. Doesn't have to even be a separate exercise. You can make it a circuit when you're warming up for squats. You should find, by going through a few rounds with just a light weight on their weight, your hip rotation will improve. And when it comes to snatching or receiving in a bottom position or going into a squat or a front squat, you'll feel a lot better.